it's great. Like, I know what your number 1 is, and it was the follow-up to this, and, like, I have that one in my number 3, and there's no qualms. Like, it's this is some of the best music that's ever written. Like, what are we discerning here? Yeah.
My number 1 is Good Morning. And it's got one of the best titles that I've ever heard of an album. Came out in 2004. My notes go as such. They have come into their full powers with this album. This is peak Alkaline Trio. This may be love, maybe the best opening to a pop punk record that I've ever heard. Then to follow that up with We've Had Enough is absolutely crazy to me. 100 Stories has keys in there, and I love that shit. Then Continental is amazing too. The hook is absolutely wonderful. All on Black. Man, this album is insanely good. Very well put together. Emma is a super catchy pop punk emo song. Dark but poppy. They pick up the pace with Fatally Yours, a faster, more punk rock song. Slows back down with Every Thug Needs a Lady, which is just a ridiculous song. But on title alone, that song gets a 10. A great vocal performance by Dan and great lyrics. Great melody. Another strong vocal performance by Dan on Blue Carolina. The melody is solid on this one. Donner Party All Night is probably one of the lesser songs in the album, but still a good song overall objectively. Second to last is If We Never Go Inside. Solid track, nice bass line. Paul muted guitar on the verse. Dan sings a lot on this album. The album closes with an acoustic ballad, Blue in the Face, and that song is fucking amazing. This album is a 10 out of 10. On Fatally Yours, you can hear some Blink influences. I always talk about Matt's on Blink, but it's a two-way street for sure. You can hear their influence on this album. I do want to let me really very clearly and loudly
part of the show.
Do what?
This is not part of the show when you go on your Matt.
Is that part of the show? No.
Okay.
I want to say I always talk about Matt Skiba's influence on Blink 182. But with this album, you can hear Blink 182's influence on Alkaline Trio. I never said that wasn't the case. I've never denied that. This album is proof positive that those bands were listening to each other. And so is the self-titled album from Blink 182. Those two records, man, and then after that, you just hear them both crisscrossing. Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't want to act as if there was no, that hand washing the other back. Of course there was. So I just want to acknowledge that for all the Blink fans out there. I love
I'm glad we got that. Because that was the quickest and least emotional we've ever got through that topic on this show. So
bro, because they snub playing. I'm like, ah! But like, yeah, dude, Good Morning is, man. So, okay. I think I've said this on this channel, but I don't remember if I was talking to you or not. So I'm going to say it real quick. When this album came out in 2004, right? I was working at Circuit City. And if you're from Houston, I was at the one at Highway 6 and Westheimer at what was that mall called? Anyhow, I was working over there, and it's the same place that guy stole the Xboxes and fell down the ditch and broke his face. I've told that story, bro. This dude, yeah, man. Anyhow, I was working in there was a section of the store where it had like car stereos, and that bled into home stereo speakers, which then bled into like CDs and DVDs. And I basically they had a car stereo guy, and then they had me, and we would basically cover both sections. And so I would always be hanging out in car stereos. But every time I got a paycheck, I'd go thumb through the CDs and see what came out, and I'd buy whatever. I'd buy like a CD every week. Mm-hmm. And I remember flipping through, and I had like Get Up Kids and like this and that and just all this stuff. And I was like, I'm not really feeling any of this. And then I saw like, dude, from like 15 feet away, man, like, because I wasn't in the A section. I was in like the L, Q, R, where all the stuff we listen to, their names start with R's and shit, you know? And I see this CD, and it's down at the very bottom, and it's got this glossy cover. But when I moved, it had like some flat, and I was like, what is that? And I picked it up, and I said, oh man, Alkaline Trio. And I think this is the first time I ever heard them. It might have been the first time I bought their album because I know Good Morning. It was close. They were really close. I didn't hear Good Morning when it first came out. I heard it like closer to the time of wait, I don't know if I said that right. In Infirmary, I didn't hear when it first came out. I think I heard it closer to 2004. But like I flipped it over and it was Vagrant, and I was like, oh, buying it. And I just went and bought it. And I think that's what it was. I think I bought this one, and then I bought Good Infirmary, thinking like, oh, I've heard that before. So I bought that one because this one was so fucking good. I'd forgotten about the band. I was like, oh shit. So when I listened to it, I was like, damn, I went back and got From Here to the Infirmary. And I basically had those two records for a long time. But I would go and play them in the car stereo department and we used to play Terror's Lowest of the Low. We played Hatebreed, Rise of Brutality. We played Alkaline Trio, Rancid. People were like, turn this shit
I wonder
off.
why Circuit City went bankrupt. I mean, good God. They would be driven out of the stores.
So Good Morning is a very, very, very important record to me. And it would end up on like, if I was to make like a top 25 albums of all times list, I feel like this one might be in like the top half. It's like really, really important to me. I think it's no better than From Here to the Infirmary as far as quality of songs, but the production is just a tad bit better. And their singing is just a tad bit better, but the songs are of equal quality. And it's just more important to me personally because it's the one that I picked up and found and was like, oh, this is something that I discovered. And so, yeah, but I mean, dude, it's all, like I said earlier, it's all semantics. They're all fantastic records. Even the two on the bottom of my list are like better than most bands' entire discographies. So like, what are we really saying here? But how do you feel about Good Morning? What do you like about it? What are the songs you like about it?
So I've got it at number 3 on my, and that is really almost a default number 3 because like those other two. So I would say it would be like on my top 20 albums of all time, probably. Like it's definitely a contender. Those other two might be in the top 10.
Nice.
Like so that's a little. But again, we're talking about 3 of like, in my opinion, the 20 and
you know what I'm saying?
Did them. And I have similar to you. It was definitely the first full length I owned. Like I probably heard Army. They were in there. Now I was talking about like the friend who kind of stole my girlfriend and stuff. Now his band was Alkaline Trio. Like I got him into it, but so he was always a little bit more of a Trio fan than I was. You know what I mean? So that was the one band he kind of like he would see or he would know about their stuff. And then so he was like, hey, you know that band on the Warped Tour DVD? They got this cool song about the needle poking you with alcohol IV. And I was just like, that sounds punk rock. That sounds awesome. Like I kind of didn't really know what they were. And he's like, they got this song about being in black with upside down crosses and like right up my alley. So I was like, oh, I gotta check this out. So I checked it out. And then I did have, so not just the Punk Rock Museum where you can get old copies of alternative press, but also my living room. I have
nice
right here, which
I got a couple.
The reason why I say that, I can't find my lens, is because it's literally at the Punk Rock Museum. They just have one of these there. Like when we were there, they just had it. Anyway,
yeah, so I bought that, man.
That really built like in our little friend group the mythology of Alkaline Trio out of that art. That's why I reread it a couple days ago. And there's a lot of stuff that like, oh, we knew that about Alkaline Trio because that came from that article. Like,
that's awesome.
That was 2003. Like that was definitely the source of that information for like everybody who knows these common things. Now that's where it came from. So it was weird though because all the reviews on it initially as it's coming out is this new mature Alkaline Trio, and it was the only Alkaline Trio I knew. So I thought, okay, this is kind of like what Alkaline Trio, but I was like. I was 15, so I didn't really get the context of how can this album really be the mature one? And it literally starts out with injecting alcohol. This is their not drinking and crying about girls album. That's what Matt said. I don't know why every song is about drinking or crying about girls. I'm not really sure where he missed that. The only one that isn't is when Dan, who had just got married, has his positive love songs, but they're still songs about girls.
Well, look at the cover of this record, dude. It's 3 guys standing in a graveyard with suits on, and it's all dark. I mean, this is super like. I almost didn't buy it because of their clothes, dude. I was like, these dorks, man, I can't do this, man. But like, I'm a dork too, so whatever. But
I gotta say though, what am I gonna do? Okay, I was trying to show my crappy tattoos. I have a blue in the face inspired tattoos. Given my current life circumstances, not really relevant anymore. Okay, all these other people that got their heart and skull tattoos in 2004, at every point in your life, that tattoo has been relevant. I spent a decent amount of money on my blue in the face tattoo, emailed the Flash artist to tell him I was the whole thing. Now the tattoo is meaningless. I guess I better just like listen to the song and make it about cocaine, which is it's actually about.
You should cover that tattoo with another Alkaline Trio tattoo that's like super, super just depressing and dark. Yo, dude. Okay, so before we go,
get on there.
That would be kind of awesome.
It's a little more appropriate.
So before okay, Good Morning is an amazing album. It's a perfect record, basically. It's so good.